Hello, Sunil sir, Avinash sir, Shubhra madam is there. Welcome, madam.
Welcome, ma'am.
Hello. Welcome, Shubhra
Thank you
ma'am.
so much. Thank you.
Shall we start with this?
We still have 10 more minutes.
Yeah. So we have to wait.
Ganesh sir, is Indumati there? Indumati? Hello?
Sir.
Are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay. So 4 minutes to go.
Yes.
Meanwhile, request all the participants to keep themselves mute and turn off their videos. Ganesh sir, go on Facebook. Go for Facebook Live. So we have disabled the chat. Meanwhile, if the speaker wants, the chat will be enabled. If she requires it, she'll let us know. If she wants to have any interaction with the participants can raise their hands, and the hosts will unmute themselves. Is it okay, Shubhra ma'am? You are on mute now.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay. I welcome Dr. Pradhan sir here, who is a mentor, who is a guide. Welcome, sir. Hello, sir, you are on mute now.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting. I'm just going to enjoy this today. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best for all the participants and the speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Ganesh, go for live. Shubhra ma'am,
Yes, sir.
whenever you are going for the screen sharing, at that time there is an option in more, stop annotation,
Okay.
and show the names of the participants who annotate. So before you begin, please take care of these two settings.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
We are live now. Indu madam, please
Yes.
go ahead.
Okay.
There is some network issue. That's why Shubhra ma'am could not continue. She is joining. Please find her in the waiting room.
She's there, sir. Yes. Anji.
Dr. Ganesh, please allow Indumati Madam to share her screen.
List. Shubhra ma'am is still not there in the list.
Yeah.
Wait for some more time.
Yes, sir. I'll wait.
Hello. Hindu madam, Shubhra madam is there.
Yes, yes, she is there.
Just a minute. I am making her co-host.
Hello.
Madam is joining now.
Just now she joined in.
Yeah, actually, I think sure. Yes, Madam joined. Indu Madam,
Yes, sir.
Madam has joined.
Okay.
Uh, just she's coming with her video as well. I think.
Okay.
Again, Madam is not there. She left because of I think network issue. Madam is there.
Okay.
Shobha ma'am, are you there? Please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, Indumati, you can continue.
Okay. Good evening to one and all. On behalf of the elite team and the entire teaching fraternity, I, Indumati Shetty, would like to extend a warm welcome speakers who have been with us since the first session. Elite platform feels privileged with you literati gracing it and elevating it to an all-new level of learning. I'm honored to introduce our eminent speaker for this evening. If simplicity had a face, it would best describe Dr. Shubhra Roy, assistant teacher at Somalwar High School and Junior College, Nagpur, with a constructive teaching experience to class 9 to 12 in English, history, and political science, spanning for a whopping 25 years, sounds remarkable in itself. Dr. Shubhra Roy is also an elite member of the Board of Studies, Bal Bharati. Her years of service have a depth which speaks volumes of her career. She has been a master trainer in English for last 15 years in Pune, Aurangabad, Nagpur, and many other cities of Maharashtra. She has been instrumental in conducting seminars and workshops for teachers of English and students appearing for the board examinations. Many civil service officers at Vanamiti, Nagpur, have been trained under her wings for proficiency in English communication skills. She has conducted research projects on inclusive education in various cities of India. She has proved that one of the noblest aspects of teaching is helping students find a path to purpose by conducting workshops for identified differently abled students, free coaching for the unsuccessful underprivileged students, coaching on weekends to girls from Nagpur, workshop for children of Korchi, Gadchiroli district, workshop for teachers and counseling for parents in rural areas. I must say that by following these untrodden paths of education, Dr. Shubhra Roy has displayed a humane side too and has taken education manifold steps ahead. Her passion for writing has manifested in her publishing various articles and research papers. Recognition is a part of dynamic ventures, and I'm sure you will agree if I say that it would be too small a word for a mammoth like Dr. Shubhra Roy. Best essay, best paper presentation, Nachiket Award for contribution in the field of education. And with all these recognitions, she could definitely not miss the Ideal Teacher Award by Lokshai Varta and Teacher of the Year Award by Silver Zone New Delhi, both in the year 2012. An icing on the cake was when she was rightly awarded the coveted Savitribai Phule Ideal Teacher State Award in 2016 by the government of Maharashtra. A passionate reader, lover of music, and a teacher with a purpose. Dr. Shubhra Roy has already inspired us with her contributions in the field of education. Today, she is here to guide us through our daily teaching of Standard 12 course book with the topic Song of the Open Road by Walt Whitman. Once again, a warm welcome, ma'am. Elite platform is all yours now.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the kind words.
Welcome,
Thank you very
ma'am.
much. Thank you very much. My sincere apologies for the technical hitch that I went into, and we are starting late. So without wasting much time, first of all, let me tell you that it gives me immense pleasure to be invited for the second time on this platform by the ELI members. My heartfelt thanks to all the organizing committee members working on and off the scene. And when I received the itinerary, it took me back to Bal Bharati again, that I would love to see my friends, my colleagues again on this seminar, on this webinar. It makes my heart sing to see them again and to listen to them. I also feel greatly privileged when I saw the names of the stalwarts like Dr. Umesh Pradhan sir and Shelija Mure ma'am. They have been a great inspiration for me. So with your blessings, I begin with my presentation today, Song of the Open Road. Allow me to share the screen. Is the screen visible? Is the screen visible?
Not yet, ma'am.
Not yet?
No.
Now? Now? Ready, sir?
Ganesh. Hello.
Hello, Ready, sir? Is it visible?
Just a second. Not yet, ma'am.
Okay.
Just a second. I'll just
I
go
have
for
already
consult.
given. I
Okay.
have already given the permission, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Just accept it.
Okay.
Share screen right now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay now.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yes, madam. It started.
Ma'am, go to view options
Yeah.
and please don't allow anyone to annotate.
Okay.
Huh? Thank you.
But I can't see. Okay, more options I have to go to, no?
Yeah, you have to go to more option.
Yeah.
Stop annotation by the participants.
Stop annotation. Here it is stop recording meeting info.
No, not that. Near your share screen.
Yeah. Pause and share. Remote control. Anyway, I'll go ahead with this because others I'll do something else. Okay.
Mhm.
So is this visible? Can I go ahead?
Yes, ma'am. You can go ahead.
Should I go for full screen slideshow?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. So highlights for today's talk or today's presentation. Let me beg pardon to the LE team because I may not have followed the plan given to me in toto, but I have tried to include all the aspects that are expected in the teaching of poetry or demonstrating the poetry. I begin with the highlight today, that is objectives of teaching a poetry. I would come back to this. Let me go to the highlights one by one. Then I'll be going to layers or steps for teaching a poem. What are the various steps for teaching a poem? Then icebreakers, which is, I consider it as one of the most important steps towards taking the student to the actual context, to the actual matter. Then the poem, loud recitation with proper intonation, and explanation, summary, theme, analysis, discussion of the language style, rhyme scheme, figures of speech, and special features. This part I'll go a little in short because every individual present here is a proficient teacher and they have their different methodologies of going with the poem as far as explanation is concerned. So this part I'm going to just touch a little bit. And finally, it is going to be English workshop activities A1 to A7, how to handle them. So let's go with the objectives of teaching poetry. I would like to, some of you or a couple of participants to answer, according to you, what will be the objective of teaching a poetry? At least one or two answers if I get. One or two answers if I get, even though I cannot see the chat box, but somebody can help me.
Ma'am, do you want chat box or do you want the questions directly from the?
I can have questions, I can have answers directly, or I can have the chat box. Anything that will be.
Okay, please raise your hand so that we can unmute you.
Objects of teaching poetry. Objectives of teaching poetry, rather.
The co-host, please look who is raising the hands. Participants, please raise your hands.
Edwin, I can see Edwin.
Yeah, Edwin. I'm just unmuting him.
Yeah.
Yes, Edwin, please. Edwin, unmute yourself.
I think even if they go for the answers on the chat in the chat box, it's okay.
So I'll enable the chat then.
Yeah, yeah.
The chat is enabled. You can answer. You can put it in the chat.
How can I see the answers?
Yeah, you can see the answers in chat box, ma'am.
Okay.
Right? Open chat box and you can get the answers.
I'm not
So
getting wrong.
Sandhya Nautiyal says it's language appreciation.
Fine, fine. Sir, if you can read it for me. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Sunita Shinde says it's immense pleasure.
Yes,
Sakshi
absolutely
says
right.
to express imagery aspects, to
Okay,
make one sensitive, enhance sensibility, to get pleasure.
okay,
And
fine.
okay.
I'm
So there are lots
satisfied.
of responses are there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm absolutely
Okay.
satisfied with the answers you gave.
Okay.
Let's tally them now to enable them to understand. They enable students to understand the thought and imagination contained in the poem. Then to appreciate the rhyme and rhythm and style of the poem. To train the emotions, feelings, and imagination of the students. This is what I found. To develop their aesthetic sense, to create love for English, and to enable the students to appreciate the poem. Now, in this presentation, the first 3 tablets, you will find that it is only meant for poetry. And the second line, row 3 tablets, you will find to develop aesthetic sense, to train the emotions, feelings, and imagination of the students, and to create love for English. The complete textbook will be based on this objective. So these are the objectives of teaching a poetry. Before we teach a poetry, we need to ensure that these objectives are kept in mind. Then the next is steps for teaching a poem. So when I talk about steps of teaching a poem, activate prior knowledge. Now, when we talk about activate prior knowledge, this is the place where I come to the icebreakers. The icebreakers are going to be instrumental to us to activate prior knowledge. Let me share a small incident with you this morning. I received a video from some teacher in some remote corner of Maharashtra, and the teacher had started the same poem on YouTube, a song of the open road. And the dialogue he started with was that this an ice-breaking activity. He said, I'm quoting him, I won't waste my time in this ice-breaking activity. Let's go to the poem directly. While after I explain the poem to you, then you can do the activities on their own. But now when I heard this, I felt very bad that our objectives probably have not been met. So activate prior knowledge. We are supposed to conduct these icebreaker activities, especially when we are going for online live class. It is very important that directly not going into the poem, directly not getting into the poem and activating prior knowledge. Then the next step is focusing on facts. Focusing on facts means not again entering directly into the hidden meaning or the larger meaning of the poem, but the superficial meaning or the latent meaning of the poem. Some say some words, some lines, which will be easy for our students to understand, because directly if you come to the theme and the message, the student may revert to icebreakers again. So to keep him focused, the easier facts, let it sink in their minds, and then we go to exploring the language. Once the language is explored, suppose we are teaching them for the first poem, Song of the Poem by Walt Whitman. We can relate to all the poems they have learned till date for Walt Whitman. I am very fortunate that I am teaching 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I go back to, of course, when you talk about 9th standard and 10th standard, it has become history for them. But if you tell them that you had Oh Captain, My Captain by Walt Whitman, you had a different kind of a poem, Animals by Walt Whitman. So this is how you need to know the language of the poet, the style of writing of the poet, then coming to establishment of theme, then explaining the larger meaning, and then with the summary, the analysis, whatever. But finally, while we explain, explanation, pre-reading, while reading and post-reading, we have to make sure that it provides pleasure to our student. Yesterday, a takeaway from Prachi Ma'am's webinar, that is that there should be pure and unalloyed joy, she said, when we are teaching language and literature. So that providing pleasure should be there. And finally, there's a question in the evaluation, there's a question in the activity sheet for 2 marks. Till last year it was there. I hope it is still there. That they need to compose 4 lines, given them the conditions, whether you use a rhyme scheme or whether you go for a free verse. There's a question where the students are expected to compose a few lines on the given topic. So therefore that we need to inspire them for writing, and just not a composition, because composition is not a piece of cake for any student. And inspiring writing also, here we need to inspire them for creative writing through a poem. Okay, so these were the steps for teaching a poem. Now I come to the ice breaking activity. This is what I had given to my students before I started with the poem. I decided to take up pictures because there are many students who do not even understand what is the meaning of mode of travel. So I decided to use the pictures and I asked them, what is common in this? What do you find, or what links all these things that you can see? And there were many students, and in 11th and 12th, as we all know, it is uni level. So we have a mixed bag kind of a students there, coming from CBSE, coming from ICSE, coming from Maharashtra State Board, and coming from higher level, lower level, all strata. So here some students were very prompt in giving the reply that it is modes of travel. We are talking about modes of travel. But after the slideshow was over, some of the students, they rang back and they said, "Madam, we have never traveled in these things. We have never been to any place in this train or anything. Please show us some picture where we can identify ourselves with." And that is why I use the second picture for ice breaking. Okay, this is how, when you go to a village, they are usually going up and down their villages on a bike. They are using a bicycle, or they are using the road. So these are the modes of travel for them. And this is how this makes it very clear that we are talking about traveling. We are talking about using modes of travel. So this is the first activity of the ice breaking activity. The second activity, name the places you would like to visit and write the purpose of your visit. So this is a box where places you wish to visit. You can write the places of, if you need to write the places of pilgrimage, let's give them examples: places of pilgrimage, places of natural beauty, scenic beauty, hill stations, or maybe for education if you're going to some university. So write the purpose of your visit. So this kind of discussion, if it takes place, then it becomes then it brings them a little bit nearer to what we are aiming at. Then there's another activity, an ice-breaking activity. Once again, the hint has been taken from the textbook. Completely, difficulties you may face during your journey. You are ready for your journey anywhere. You are ready for your journey. You have given me your place of visit, and you have given the purpose of traveling there. Now, what are the difficulties that you may face during your journey? So one of the common answers that I got is health problems. Many of people have health problems. They carry medicine with them. Some of them said there's a problem of license and all that thing. So these three blanks to be kept, to be filled by the students. And this is how we can go with the activities, which are the ice-breaking activities. Now, once the ice-breaking activities are over, this last question, I got a very good response, and that is why I put this question here. I got a very good response from my students. Would you prefer traveling alone? Now, what I do here is online teaching. You need to get immediate responses. So what I told them was, would you like to prefer traveling alone? If you would say yes to this answer, type 1 in the chat box. And if you go to the second part of the answer, you agree with the second part of the answer. If you want someone to accompany you to your destination during the travel, type 2. Then those who type 2, this is, I'm talking about the interaction pattern between teacher and students during your online class. So this is how they go about very fast. And those who answer 2, at random, I select their names and I call them out and I unmute them and I ask them, then who would it be? So most of the answers that I get is the third picture, that is with friends. Most of them say that we would like to go with our friends. Then some of them also say that we would like to go with our parents. There are very few students who say that we would like to go alone. And when asked, the response was that sometimes we feel that there shouldn't be anyone with us. I should be left alone to myself, and I should go with confidence on the road. And that brings them to the actual poem, that is the Song of the Open Road by Walt Whitman. When we come to the poem after the icebreakers, it definitely is a very important task to tell them about the poet, that is about the author, Walt Whitman, about the poet, Walt Whitman. I have taken all the points from the textbook. An American poet, essayist, and journalist called as the father of free verse. The section of the poem, Song of the Open Road, from his major work, Leaves of Grass, you can also elaborate Leaves of Grass for them, is a blend of self-awareness, free will, and tenderness of heart. The road signifies mobility. One can take the road as a start towards something new. Still, we have not gone yet to the poem. Now, there are certain students, those who tell me that, madam, we don't have books, or we've not bought books. Send them the PDF, they'll keep it rolling, and they don't find it there. So if it is a poem, and if it's not a very lengthy poem, we can have the poem typed in our presentation itself. That becomes easier for them. So this is how I did, was this stanza 1. Now, before beginning with the poem, I asked them to listen quietly to the way I read out the poem to them. And then one by one, I asked them to read in between. Okay. So stanza 1. Afoot and light-hearted, I take to the open road, healthy, free, the world before me, the long brown path before me, leading wherever I choose. At the first reading, we just go with the meaning. Either now, two kinds here. I have less time, so I'm going with chunks. But otherwise, the complete poem is read loudly with proper intonation and stress. And then we come back, or I come back with the stanza-wise explanation to the students. So this is the stanza-wise explanation. Again, here for the presentation, I've kept the explanation very short, and the explanation is here because sometimes when you are explaining them, the things, they are not very attentive. So if it is on the screen, it becomes easier for them to take notes, because I believe that if they take notes, they will not have to prepare it again and again. So taking notes is very important here. So with the explanation now, the speaker is prepared to move on the open road. He is prepared to begin with his journey. He is light-hearted, free, and is open to all. He realizes that it is he who is in control of the journey. He will decide where he wants to go. He will choose where the path will take him on his journey. So the 3 lines explained in this manner. Then let's go to the second stanza, stanza 2. Henceforth, I ask not good fortune. I myself am good fortune. Henceforth, I whimper no more, postpone no more, need nothing. Done with indoor complaints, libraries, querulous criticism, strong and content, I travel the open road. Now, what does stanza 2 tell us? Then again, here while explaining the stanzas, I go with these lines which are, there's a lot of repetition here, henceforth, henceforth, then the meanings of the difficult words for vocabulary, look out for vocabulary, then go for the figures of speech. While explaining, here I won't do it in all, in a very elaborate manner, because we all, again, I would say that we all have different ways of how to go about a poem. So I'm just telling the interaction that I have with my students. And then again, the explanation of this part, the speaker says that he does not have to pray for good luck. He considers himself to be the architect of his own fate. He will no longer cry or hesitate to do what he wants, because he is in need of nothing. He is strong and happy to be on the open road. The next stanza, stanza 3. The earth that is sufficient. I do not want the constellations any nearer. Here, constellations need to be told here to the students, because it gives 2 meanings here. It is used for the stars as well as it is used for the influential people or the powerful people here. So the students should know why this word and how this word has been used. I know they are very well where they are. I know they suffice for those who belong to them. Means he says the earth is fine the way it is. He does not desire to be any closer to the stars than he already is. He says the earth is sufficient for me. I need not go close to the stars. He knows that they are fine where they are, and he knows they are good enough for those who belong to them. This last line is in strong contrast to the rest of the poem, where the speaker emphasizes his free will and independence, which means he probably does not include himself in the group of people who belong to constellations. And he does not belong to them because he does not need them. Fine. Now, when I read the 4th stanza, or before I read the 4th stanza, let me read and then I'll ask the question. Till I carry my old delicious burdens. I carry them, men and women, I carry them with me wherever I go. I swear it is impossible for me to get rid of them. I'm filled with them and I will fill them in return. What is the difference between the previous stanzas and this stanza. What difference do you find between the previous 3 stanzas and this stanza? I need some answers. Okay. Can someone read the answers for me, please? Ready, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. Its parenthesis is used over there.
Yeah,
Then
absolutely right.
parenthesis would like to travel, and then some other responses because it was bracketed. It is, so rather it is bracketed. Parenthesis. It's
Yeah.
confession.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the answers, participants, and thank you so much, Sunil sir, for reading it out to me. Parenthesis, yes. What is the objective of this parenthesis again? Why this parenthesis? What is the objective of this parenthesis? Why does the poet, you think you have used parenthesis here? 3 participants have raised their hand. I can see, but who are they that I cannot see? Please go ahead with your answers in the chat box. And 1 or 2 answers if it can be read out.
Nilufar Rizvi ma'am says,
Yes.
in 3 stanzas he talks about his past life,
Yes.
and here he talks about his present life.
Okay. Anybody
Then
else?
Sadhna Alva ma'am says, it is talking in confidence with audience.
The last stanza.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Anyone else?
Pankaj Bobde said, separate from others.
He considers himself to be different from others. I think that is quite near. Yeah. He considers himself different. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sangeeta ma'am. So let's check what is the difference here. He is using parenthesis. It is an afterthought that the speaker has decided to throw in there, and probably he considers himself as different from the other people, but it's still important to the song of the road. Even though it is given in the parenthesis form within brackets, it is still important. That is of utmost important, where he is speaking about his own experience. Here the speaker admits that he is not without his own problems. While he is walking on the road, he still has problems, like people have problems while walking on the journey of life. In the journey of life, he still have problems, but instead of fretting with the problems, he relishes them. Delicious burdens, he uses those words. Through these words, he conveys the sense of relish the speaker feels for his burden. In the second line of the final stanza, the speaker admits to all that he carries his relations with him wherever he goes. In the previous 3 stanzas, he was giving his experience, but he was giving his experience to people, inspiring them to go along, walking on the open road. In the last stanza, he's talking about himself solely. He's considering himself as different to the other people, those who find a lot of burdens and they fail to move ahead in life. For them, he says that even I have problems. I have a lot of problems, but I relish taking these problems along with me on the open road. So this will be, in short, this will be the explanation for the last stanza. And now for the theme. So these are 3 themes that we find in this poem is freedom, joy, and optimism. Freedom from any kind of thought process, freedom from any kind of control on ourselves, the joy of walking alone, with a lot of burdens, optimism that I'm choosing the road on my own and I'm sure to reach the destination. Optimism are the 3 major themes of this poem. Throughout the poem, the poet encourages the readers to be true to themselves and live a free life. Although his life is not free from obligations, from troubles, but he encourages everyone to live their dreams and face the troubles bravely. Once the theme is over, once again, we go with the reading of the poem. I'm not going to read it again, but I want the teachers to read the poem once again. so that the students relive the poem again along with the theme after they know the meaning, after they know the theme, after the theme sinks in. If you read the poem once again, it becomes easier for them to understand and retain the theme. And after that, we go to the summary, which makes it more easier for them to understand. The speaker of the poem is describing a trip on which in which he embarks. There's a misprint there. He describes himself as being healthy and free, and he realizes he's the only person who is in complete control of his life. No one else has any control over his life, and he chooses his own destiny. As I told you, that he considers himself as the architect of his own fate. So because of this realization, he does not have the wish or hope or pray for a good fortune. He attests that he himself is his own fortune, own good fortune rather, and that is all he needs. He will reach his destination on his own. This is not to say that the road he is taking is not paved with imperfections and burdens. There are definitely imperfections in life. There are burdens in life. Rather than worry, however, the speaker has decided to take those burdens with him and deal with them as they arise. Now comes the most difficult part, is the analysis of the poem. We have already taught them figures of speech, literary devices. So when it comes to analysis, it is a dramatic monologue because it is a speech. It's in form of a speech where the writer is narrating it, his own experience. Whitman separates this poem into 4 separate stanzas or verses, since it's titled Song of the Open Road. With the exception of the first stanza, which contains only 3 lines, the other stanzas contain 4 lines of the verse. And you bring to the notice of the children that the poem utilizes free verse. These lines are unrhymed and of varying lengths. Song of the Open Road is told from the first person point of view, and the speaker perhaps knows himself very well and thus speaks so confidently about himself. So that part is the analysis part. And literary devices, I'm not going to elaborate on all the literary devices that have been used, because what I believe is that you give them the difficult ones, you explain them the difficult ones, and allow them to do the easy ones on their own in practice. We need to, of course, give them practice tests for that. We need to give them practice assignments for that, so that the easy ones they'll be able to do, but the difficult ones, let us clarify to them, let us explain it to them. Symbolism is the use of symbolism to signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meanings different from the literal meaning. So your example, open road, can be taken as that symbolizes freedom and opportunity. And an example of transferred epithet that I have listed here is with the explanation. Epithet or adjective that is transferred from the noun, it's meant to describe to another noun in the sentence. Done with the indoor complaints. The complaints are not indoor, but the epithet should have been used for the other noun, the people who live indoors, those who complained. Okay, so this is how the explanation for the literary devices go. And after, I think all the aspects of the poem has been touched. And after this, what we go to is English workshop. This is how we had planned to go for the English workshop, and that is the sequence of questions that come along. Everywhere you will find the same sequence, of course, a little different from the poetry and the prose. But here in the poetry, activity 1 consists of comprehension. Activity 2 is global understanding, complex factual, interpretative, analysis-based or personal response type of questions. Usually those who are setters, or even if those who are not board setters, we need to set papers for our own college. So this is the criteria that we are going to use, and this is the format that we are going to use for setting. Activity 3 based on vocabulary, activity 4 poetic devices, activity 5 appreciation, activity 6 creative writing, and activity 7 for project. Now, many of you may consider that project, why project? Is it going to be evaluated? Is it going to come in the activity sheet? Then why should we go for project? Again, it is joyful learning, taking them into the interiors, taking them in very close to literature. Projects, especially in the poems, they are so related that children will enjoy. And if you are the facilitator, for example, in this project that we are going to do, I'll let you know later, if you facilitate them with a poem once again that we have asked them to read, then that gives a joy, that definitely it makes the children more analytical, where they are thinking about comparing both the poems, thinking about it. Or so these projects can be used in your oral examination at your college level. So let's go with each question. Now, the book gives you a lot of activities. A lot of activities have been given in the textbook. But still I feel that teachers should be able to frame their own activities, because all the teachers are very, very creative. They can frame their own activities, taking a cue from the given activities. So 1 or 2 questions I have framed according to this pattern, so that I can show it to you, and then you can have many more questions of those types which are given in the textbook, rather than lifting directly questions from the textbook and putting it in the paper. There can be variations. Okay, so what I do actually is that I prefer going for various other questions for practicing and discussing with the students in the class, and then when I give them assignments, those assignments are from the textbook, so that they can help and take the help from the text. So activity 1, comprehension type of a question. The first question, find the line that shows the poet's free attitude and write. Choose the correct alternatives. As the speaker starts his journey in the poem, he seems to be. 4 options are given. Right now, no answers are expected from the participants. This is just to show you that this is how you can go with the activities. I have here 4 options, where I have used 2 positive options and 2 negative options. That makes the option very easy for the students, those who are not doing very well in languages. And here I have made it even more easier by giving 3 negative options and 1 positive option. If you want to raise the level, if you want to make it difficult, you can go with all options which are closely related to each other, closely linked with each other. The speaker characterizes his previous attitude towards setting out on a journey by being what or how. So this is fearful, determined, impatient, and reluctant. One answer is very obvious here. So this is how activity 1 can be framed, taking the hints from the given exercises in the textbook, but framing your own questions. Then that will give them variety. Then activity 2, which is global understanding, interpretative, and personal response type. I have 3 questions put here. First, the poet uses first person in the poem with some perspective. Select the appropriate options from the following. What is his perspective? That if they have understood or not, you can ask from this question, you can get the answer. Advising the readers regarding walking. I have put this here because the moment I asked in the class, what is the meaning of afoot? Many people said that probably he's going on foot. So I have put this option here. Giving the readers first-hand experience and asking the readers to walk on the open road. So they'll have to just use the options, and then you can also initiate another question here along with this question for giving reasons. The poet gives so many examples of people, places, emotions, etc. Give reason for using these examples, why he has used these examples. And the third one, it's although typed 2, there's a typo error. As you think about your future, do you like the idea given by the poet? Give reasons for your answer. This question can solve the personal response type of a question pattern. This you can ask for personal response. So this is how you can go about with activity 2, interpretative type questions. Activity 3, just 1 question I've put here. You can have many here, many types you can have here. And those are already given in the textbook. So it shouldn't be a repetition. That is why I put a different question here. Find words from the second stanza that the poet has used to describe himself. 2 words in the second stanza you have. The poet has used to describe himself as strong and content. Then let's go to activity 4. This is based on poetic devices. Read the poem and write the words and phrases that are repeated. Name the figure of speech where words are repeated. And what is the effect of the repeated words on the poem? Then the following line is an example of dash, still I carry my old delicious burdens. It has already been explained. We all know it's an example of paradox. And if they identified clearly that it's a paradox, then we know that they know the meaning. So that is why, again, explanation is not expected. The children are not expected to write the explanation here if they have to just identify. You can add a question of explanation as well if you want the child to explain. So this is how questions can be framed in activity 4. Now we go to activity 5, which is the appreciation question. In 11th and 12th, the appreciation question that was just introduced last year, the appreciation question, but there was no dilemma in students, I found, because they have already been doing appreciation, writing appreciation since class 9. Full-fledged appreciation they've been writing, but the only thing is that the format is changed. In LL English, the third language English, they are expected to write the appreciation in points. And in first language English 10th standard, they are expected to write the appreciation in a paragraph. So here we need to tell them that what are the ingredients of these appreciation writing, what should be the word limit, how many paragraphs are they supposed to write this, and here their level has to be examined, that whether what they were writing in standard 10 and what they are writing in standard 12. So these are the points that are given to them in the textbook when they are appreciating a poem, when they are writing an appreciation about the title of the poem, significance of the title, if it has been taken from some other long poem, then about the poet, then theme, central idea comes second. This chronology they will have to follow. Style, language style, rhyme scheme, or if there is no rhyme scheme, then either it's a blank verse or a free verse. Then poetic devices, they are expected to give the poetic devices, not all, but a couple which are very prominently given, exemplified in the poem. And also when they are giving the poetic devices, the writing about the poetic devices, it is expected that they need to give some examples in support of those poetic devices, if not all, at least a couple of them. Then what is the special feature in that poem? Use of symbolism, use of imagery, okay, any other special feature that they can observe there. Then message, value or morals they learn from the poem. And finally, it is your opinion. Although it is not a critical appreciation, yet it is expected from the students that they should be able to write a couple of lines about their opinion of the poem, about the poem. So this is how they are supposed to, expected to rather, go about with the appreciation part, covering all these points for appreciation of the poem. And activity 6 is about creative writing. So blog writing they've already learned in 11th standard. So here I have just given a very a very easy topic here. Write a blog on the following topic, freedom of mind. Now before we ask them for blog writing, we need to discuss this in the class. We just cannot give the question and then expect the students to write, go for creative writing. So when we discuss the points in the class, how to go about a blog, it's a write-up, how to write this, you can go for online also. This homework was given in a Google Classroom, and I found a lot of students sending their blogs back to me for evaluation. So freedom of mind has been expressed and it has been discussed in class. What do you consider as freedom of mind? Are you free by your mind even today? What will take you towards the freedom of mind? What will be the result if you are free will? Okay, so this is how, when we discuss these points with the students, it becomes easier for them. You can even give them some hints. You make use of the following points in your blog for the students, those who are unable to write, because these things are not very easy for some students, those who come from vernacular, those who have learned in vernacular languages. Okay, and then finally it is activity 7, project I was talking about. Read the poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Reread the poem Song of the Open Road by Walt Whitman, and answer the following questions. If you feel that why to ask them to write these answers, because this is not going to be evaluated, so just you can discuss it so that they can enjoy and they can relish both the sides of both the poems. So to answer the following questions, when you give them a cue, you can give them the poem there, Road Not Taken, even read it out to them or allow them to read. And then after reading it, find one similarity and one difference in the speaker's attitude in both the poems. And second question you can ask, in Frost's poem, the speaker chooses between two different paths in the wood. What alternatives does Whitman's speaker choose between? And which road appeals to you more? That's personal response. Which road appeals to you more, Whitman's road or Frost's road? Write your response below in a paragraph with reasons. So this is how you are taking them closer again to the poem that they should enjoy. And finally, it is assignment time. Assignment, I have given only 5 questions. Usually I like to give them assignments which are based mostly on creative writing, interpretative type, because all these questions the children miss out and they don't want to write. So these are the assignment questions that I have prepared. 5 questions of assignment. Question number 1. The road in the poem does not mean only the road to travel. The line suggests the road of life. Explain the metaphor with the help of the poem. Question number 2. The use of personal pronoun I is evident and prominent in the poem. Give reasons. Number 3. Write an appreciation of the poem, The Song of the Open Road, with the help of given points. Points will be given. Title, poem, poet, theme. Again, I have already given the points, so I won't repeat. Compose 4 lines of free verse on the topic. This topic I have taken from the textbook. The road that leads to my college. 4 lines on this. And expand the idea in the line. All roads lead to Rome. Again, 2 topics were given in the textbook. I've selected 1. And finally, make a list of proverbs and quotations about road. Although this is a project question, if they find this out, there will be some research work done by them. So, and they will come close to all the proverbs for expansion of an idea. That is going to give them some help, because when they find it, they'll read it. So these proverbs and quotations about road. So this is the assignment that we need to give. So I think I've gone stepwise from activity 1 to activity 7, as we have to conduct these activities in the class. And this assignment is obviously the home assignment that they are expected to do. You give them some time slot, otherwise in standard 12, you cannot make the children write. They go far away from this. So they actually fear these assignments and they don't write it, do it religiously. So please allot some time and please see that they give that back the assignments on time, and this is how they will completely get involved in the poetry in this particular poem, Song of the Road, and they'll come out as successful people, motivated by the methods that Whitman has inspired them to do so. So this is the assignment, and I think that I have touched all the aspects of poem. I went a little fast because I started late. I really felt very bad that I started late, and I hope I finished on time. And now it's over to the organizing committee for questions. Your questions are welcome.
Thank you very much, Shubhra ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Just let me tell you all the participants that yes, we are dealing with the teaching only, the demonstration. We are not dealing with evaluation anymore. So please don't ask any question related to evaluation.
Thank you.
Because we are
Thank you so much, Rajesh sir.
Yeah, so that we are not in that position to answer that question. So I request all the participants to ask the questions related with the teaching process. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, Indumati. Indumati, are you there?
Yes, sir. She is there, but she has to.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'm just reading out the questions. Though you are receiving actually more of appreciation.
Yeah.
Many people are appreciating your presentation.
Yes.
I think they are all happy with the way it has gone. There are no questions right now in the chat box, but we can just wait for a few minutes.
Okay.
Most of them are appreciating you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
They've liked your explanation, your presentation. There seems to be, I think it was a complete package. Teachers, if you have any question, please do ask right now in the chat box.
I request all the
All are happy
to write thanks and all those messages, because the questions are getting lost in that flurry.
One question is, please elaborate the term brown path.
Yeah.
Please elaborate the term brown path.
Now the brown path, here the interpretations are many. The brown path, as he says, probably is talking about the rustic life, and he's talking about the brown path where he wants to be close to nature, in association with nature. He wants to be alone with nature. He wants to be intimately with the company of nature, and that is why probably, that is my interpretation, that is why probably he has used the word brown path.
So I'm sure Shriman sir must be satisfied with his answer. There's one more. Some Atmaji has asked. Just wanted to know that if that line talked about positive experiences, that is, why sweet burden? So does it talk about positive experiences?
Yeah, he talks about positive experiences because he talks about memories here. He talks about the better memories, and that is why he's not able to leave those burdens. He's not able to get rid of them because it is about sweet memories also. So he carries them along.
Yes, one more question from Sunil sir is there, Sunil Sonavani sir. He wants to know what it means, libraries in the poem. What does it indicate?
It indicates the enclosed area where people sit, because he says that I don't want to be indoors. And the indoor complaints that he has said, and that is why it is confinement or within the four walls in company of books.
Okay, there are some who are asking whether you can give them your PPT as a reference.
Sure. No problem.
And one more question is there from Jay Shankar Pandey sir. Why the path is brown only?
Why the path is brown only? Probably it is indicating that there are a lot of hurdles in the path. It is not smooth. So that is why probably he has said it's brown path.
Okay, and there's one more question from Nilofer ma'am. She's asking how many sentences should we expect in A6, that is appreciation question from students.
Appreciation question, again the marking scheme has not come yet. I don't know. So appreciation usually, if it is 5 marks, like if you include all the points, then it should be somewhere around 100 to 120 words.
Okay. Then we have Sir Gajanan Malukar sir asking whether this poem is a dramatic monologue. I think there is some network issues here.
Indumati ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
She got disconnected again.
Yes.
I think there is some kind of issue. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Indumati ma'am.
Yes, sir.
She's not able to join. So she has conveyed thanks to the ELLE team, the organizing committee, and everyone who is in the room and who are on the Facebook.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So
I think we can.
Yeah, you can go for the vote of thanks then.
But sir, she's not there, then there's no point.
Yeah. But there are many dignitaries like Dr. Umesh Pradhan, then Lagbir Kaur Verma ma'am, Jayashree Jangle ma'am, and even we had Dr. Manjushri Sardesh Pandey on Facebook. We have Nadeem Khan sir, we have Damodare sir. So just go for vote of thanks.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir. to all the experts who are present here today and who have been present with us since the first session itself, and including all the teacher fraternity who are here. I would like to express my gratitude. And this is on behalf of the entire LE team. You all have graced this platform with your presence. And of course, today's session, which Dr. Shubhra Roy has presented, it was a complete visual, and it was actually a complete package. She dealt with the icebreakers and she went on to the assignments, and every part of the poem was very clear. She has given a deeper insight into how to handle the poem. So on behalf of the LE team, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all of you who have been a witness to this wonderful session. Thank you very much.
Yeah.